All right, from the National Weather Service in Raleigh, it's Nick Petro with your 11 a.m. update here on this Sunday, the 16th of January. Winter storm underway. We're going to show some radar. We're going to show some wind observations and try to put a little package together and show you how this is all going to evolve through the rest of this afternoon. Okay, so we'll try to keep this briefing brief. We're real busy here at the Weather Service, and we'll do a couple more of these throughout the afternoon. Okay, but anyway, as of 11 o'clock. So let's start first with, let me show you the current radar. And let me turn off the color coding. So this is the way things are looking right now. More um, more reflectivity, more echoes, more precip moving up from the south. But I do have a bit of good news, and let me put on the this little T button here allows me to kind of show an estimate of what the precip type is, and then bear with me here because I'm going to put some temperatures on here as well. Let's see here. There's some surface temps. All right, so let me go ahead and stop this loop. And one thing I want to call your attention to is basically we've got 32 here. We've got 32 here in Duplin County, 32. I think it actually hit 33 just recently, although this map hasn't caught it, at Clinton. There's a 33 in Laurinburg. There's a 32 at Johnston County Airport. So basically, there's some 32s here, Rockingham. So basically, once that temperature, gets at or just above 32, that's when we should basically limit or transition to limit the freezing rain or transition to all rain. So this boundary right here probably needs a little bit of tweaking to something like I would say something like this for the rain line, the transition line. So if I had to redraw that green line, it would look probably something like this. And everything east of that everything east of that yellow line I just drew on the map is probably rain. And the likelihood for additional icing accumulation, additional, not what's already fell and accumulated, but additional, is very, very slim. So from Laurinburg to Clinton to Greenville and eastward, I think the risk for additional freezing rain, icing accumulation is very, very limited. So let me go ahead and clear the screen here, and you can see that the snow area. Notice, look at these temperatures here. There's like a real distinct difference between where you get into the low 20s and where you get into the mid 20s. And how about that? It lines up roughly with I-85. And remember, we always talk about how I-85 is a lot of times is a differentiation between where the cold air and the wintry precipitation types hang on the longest. And I think that'll be the case really for a good part of the day. And where you see these blues and purples, that's where the snow is likely occurring. And finally, this zone right in here is sort of a transition, if you will, from freezing rain, which would be the red, to sleet. So there's a zone of sleet in here between these two yellow lines that I just drew. The bottom line is, and let me erase all this and put it into motion. You could see look how the green line, the transition, which for approximation purposes, I'm willing to accept that is a rough idea of where the transition to rain is occurring. It's probably just a bit further east, but for all intents and purposes, that transition to rain is quickly coming upon I-95. And clearly the cold air is locked in north of I-85, and it's in between I-95 and I-85, where we're going to have a little bit prolonged freezing rain and continue to accumulate the ice. Okay, so basically in this zone right here, we're going to see icing continue. Maybe I could draw it back a little bit more like that, but we're going to see ice continuing to accumulate on the trees and on the roads. We're talking freezing rain ice. Okay, so not sleet ice, but freezing rain And of course, eventually the freezing rain will get up and north into the triad, but that might take a little bit longer. Okay, so right now everything seems to be on schedule, and it's good news for areas east of I-95 because that transition point is coming. All right, so let me take you to one of my other tools that I like to use. This is GR Earth, and kind of show you, give you kind of a run through some models, various models that show this transition. So basically, let's see, it's about 16 Zulu right now, and there's the P-type transitions right there. Again, green is rain, red is freezing rain, orange is sleet, and the shades of purple and blue and pink are snow. And let me take you to that. That's 11 a.m., that's noon, that's 1 p.m., that's 2 p.m., that's 3 p.m., and that's 4 p.m. Okay, so notice how during the afternoon hours, and let me back up again to right now, that's right now. Notice how every hour, and each jump is an hour. Okay, now noon, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so over the next 4 or 5 hours, and again, I'm going to back up here. This is current time. Over the next 4 or 5 hours, we're going to see that transition to rain gradually move westward. Okay, so then the question then becomes, where does the freezing rain hang on the longest? It's the spots that we've been predicting, basically across the western Piedmont up through the Triad, from Albemarle to Randolph County to western Chatham, up towards the Triad, Greensboro, up toward Roxborough. The same. This was that area that I have circled right now, where we have always been predicting, a quarter to a half inch of ice accumulation. Okay, so let me take you through this one more time. This is bear with me here. This is current time, noon, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and by 7 p.m., this storm is winding down very rapidly. 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., it's pretty much done everywhere. Okay? So let me back up here. And one other thing I want to show you, you might be asking, well, how confident are you? Let me again, one more time. Now, noon, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you might be asking, how confident are you that by 4 p.m., that rain line is going to make it as far west as Albemarle and Henderson? How confident are you? Well, I can take a look at some additional models. So this one's another one of my favorite models for the same time frame. And look what it shows. It shows pretty much the same thing. Here's yet another model, the GFS model, and it shows pretty much the same thing. Okay, and here's a variety of different WRF models, same thing. And this one's old data. So the point is, let me get us to the current time. So the point is that I'm feeling pretty good about this time right here. That right there, 4 p.m., that the rain line should be knocking on the door of the Triad. Not quite in the Triad, but pretty close. So it should be rain as far west as Albemarle, as far west as Asheboro, Siler City, Durham. Even Roxborough might see a little change to rain. Henderson for sure. But the good news is that this will help to obviously not only limit the amount of freezing rain that accumulates along the US 1 corridor, but also hopefully maybe try to melt some of that ice. So the point is that for the rest of the day, watch where that green line moves from this point forward. This is 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. It doesn't really move. So the point is that the Triad is the area that's probably going to never switch to rain and always or continue to see those hazardous road conditions, ice accumulating on trees and power lines and additional power outages. But even where this rain this changeover to rain occurs just east of the Triad, we're talking from now, which is right here, to roughly there, we're talking basically 4 or 5 more hours of freezing rain. So 4 or 5 more hours of freezing rain across much of the central and western Piedmont. So again, I'll take you back to our ice accumulation map. Let me show our webpage here. This is our webpage, weather.gov/Raleigh. And let's just go right real quick to our ice accumulation map. And we're feeling pretty good about these numbers. The numbers in the yellow, that's already happened. Okay, so even though many of the yellow places are going to start raining soon, or have already switched to rain, those numbers and those values have already been hit. So that's a good forecast. And clearly, I'm just looking out the window here. There's definitely more here in Raleigh. There's definitely more than 1/10 of an inch of ice out there. So the orange area is doing pretty good in terms of what our forecast is. And again, the area in red, that's the area that we've been advertising, that we believe that the worst of it obviously is going to be in the Triad, because it never changes the rain. And then just east of the Triad, in this zone right here, is where the freezing rain will hold on the longest before changing to rain. Sorry about that. I'm getting a little tongue twisted there. All right, so let's see what else. What else did I want to share? Let's go back to our. Bear with me here. Let me erase my drawings, and let's go back to the one map that I want to show you, because there's another concern that we've got. And again, you can get to this by going to weather.gov/Raleigh, and then under current conditions, right here where it says observation map. That's one of my favorite maps to show you what's happening right now. Okay, and I'm going to put on some boundaries so you can see the states and the counties and basically get a sense of where we're at. And then I'm going to change the observations to wind gust. All right. And notice some of these strong wind gusts. Let me back out here a little bit so you can see where we're at. Okay, so let me get my drawing tool here, and you can see that basically from just east of Atlanta, northeast Georgia, upstate South Carolina, almost to the Charlotte area, there's an area of enhanced winds, okay? 30, 40, maybe even 45 mile per hour wind gusts, okay? This pocket or this area of enhanced wind is expected to transition to the northeast, okay, with time. And these wind speed values are expected to reach the western Piedmont in North Carolina later this afternoon. And why that's a concern is because by later this afternoon across the western Piedmont, there's going to be a lot of ice on the trees. And when those 30 to 40 mile per hour winds make it to the western Piedmont, I would expect there to be a rapid increase in the number of downed trees and power outages, again, later this afternoon when these winds get here, okay? And let me show you another way and why we're confident that that's going to happen. Let me just switch to my, let me switch to my GR Earth tool here. Gosh, sorry about that. Too many windows open. All right, so let me back out of here. And instead of showing you precipitation type, I'm going to show you a wind simulation, okay? And let me go to the current time, which is right now. And this is a simulation of wind. And look how this model shows those high winds from just east of Atlanta, upstate South Carolina, just west of Charlotte, okay? Look at that area I've circled right there. Now watch what happens when I move it forward in time. This is current time. This is noon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Look what happened to those strong winds. They moved out of this circle and up right across the western Piedmont and Triad area. Okay, let me get rid of my circle. So the expectation is, and this isn't the only model that shows that. There's many models that show the same thing, these higher winds moving to the north. Okay, so the point is that later this afternoon, after all the ice is accumulated on the trees, there's going to be at least an hour, 2 or 3 of pretty gusty winds that basically move across central North Carolina, and any ice loading on the trees will be worsened by the winds, and obviously we do expect to see quite a few power outages in that area. Okay, so that is what we have for your 11 o'clock update. Let me just go back to radar one more time before we part ways here, and let's see if my window will let me go back to radar here. Bear with me here for 1 second here. Got too many windows open. All right, current radar, and you can see I turned it off there, and we'll just let this load up here. So, all right. So the main concerns obviously are obviously that rain transition moving to the west and the prolonged freezing rain across the western Piedmont and the winds that will move up from the southwest later this afternoon. Okay, so those are the main concerns. And I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to show you. And let's see here. So with that, I will wish you a good rest of your morning and early afternoon. Let's see, it's 11:17. So we're going to give another update, another briefing. We'll be tracking those winds. We'll be tracking this rain line, this freezing rain, sleet line. We'll be tracking all of this, and we will bring you an update at 1 o'clock. And then we'll probably have another quick update at 2:30. And then at 4:30. So we've got 3 more of these live updates as we head through the afternoon. So if you're watching us on Facebook Live, be sure to check back at 1, 2:30, and 4:30. And if you're joining us among our core partners, joining us on GoToWebinar, you'll have the reminders in your email as well. So with that, again, the best advice: stay home, stay off the roads, stay wherever you're at until the warm air comes in and warms things up and helps clear things up. Okay, so with that, I'm going to say goodbye to our Facebook friends until 1 o'clock. And we will get to our questions here in just a moment. Let me stop that stream. And let me get rid of this here. All right, so what do we got? Finally got my pointer to work. My highlighter, it finally came back. All right, so Timothy said there was no sound at the beginning. I hope that got resolved, because I would have felt bad if I'd have gone through that and never turned on my microphone. So, but from the rest of the questions, it appears that the sound did work. Okay, so Chris is asking, what time is it when the high winds reach the triad? So we're thinking again, that 3, 4, 5 p.m. time frame, Chris. So late afternoon, anytime after 3.